Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, some folks got interrupted on their cruise with Royal Caribbean, missing almost every port, and mechanical issues. And then I want to talk to you about something that recently happened to me. I didn't know it was going to happen, but it's a warning sign. Even if you've already paid for your cruise in full, keep an eye on it because this might happen. So first off, we have the Ovation of the Seas is currently on a 9-day Canary Islands cruise, and they had to go into a port for a medical reason. Either a crew member or a passenger was ill. There's really no description about it, but they had to stop in a port to evacuate the person and get medical attention. But then passengers were also notified that the remainder of their cruise stops were canceled. They weren't going to be able to make it because the ship was now experiencing mechanical issues, not able to reach top speed. In other words, engine problems. And it looks like they will make it back to their home port in time for everyone to catch their flights and things like that. But you're on this exotic Canary Island cruise, yet you're not going to stop in any of the Canary Islands, except for the one or two that you did on the beginning of the cruise. So it's not exactly the dream vacation a lot of passengers were thinking of. However, Royal Caribbean is doing, I think, right by the passengers. So first of all, any shore excursions or anything, obviously, from the bookings that people made for the canceled cruise ports, obviously is going to be refunded. In fact, it's already been refunded to their cards that they have on file on the ship. If they do not use the money on the ship, spend it in the casino or buying food or whatever, it will automatically just be returned to their card at the end of the cruise. Good deal there. But because of the drastic changes to the itinerary, Royal Caribbean is giving everybody 50% off the base fare of their cabin. So if you paid $2,000 for your cabin, you're going to get $1,000 back. That's pretty good. A lot of times you're only going to get this, port fees and things like that because, unavoidable things are covered, right, in the cruise contract, saying that doesn't matter, something can happen, you might not make that port of call. All they'll owe you back is the taxes and port fees for that port of call. However, Royal sees the drastic change in this iconic kind of dream vacation for a lot of people, and so they have decided you're going to get 50% of the money back. Not only that, every passenger will receive 25% off their next booking up till December of 2024, a full 2 years to use that 25% off. So basically this cruise is costing you 25% of what it costs. You're on a 9-day in the sun. I think Royal Caribbean did pretty good, pretty darn good. I'll have to applaud them on this. You see a lot of things like this happen and people are getting $25 and $50 onboard credits to, oh, sorry, that happened. And Royal Caribbean's giving you 50% off and 25% off your next cruise. I think congratulations to Royal Caribbean. I like to see that. I'm glad that they are stepping up in a big way with this refund. Now, let me tell you, if you think that just because you paid off your cruise, you shouldn't keep an eye on it. I got a story for you because it just happened to me and one of my clients, and I had to fix it today. Before I get there, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you want to keep up to date with all things cruising, including some tips that I'm about to tell you that I bet you may not know or even expected was possible. And, oh, by the way, we're going to Australia at the end of the month. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a great time. Hope to show you everything on there, and hope you'll follow me on the journey. If you do, just like I said, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost a thing, and it really, really does help the channel out. And again, thank you ever so much. I really do appreciate it. Okay, I have a group on April 1st, going on the Discovery Princess, and we're heading down into Mexico on the west coast out of LA. And I had a client. They are booked in a cabin on Emerald Deck. Now, Emerald Deck is usually not a deck I like to book people on because they're in the front of the ship, and on deck 7, that's where the theater is, right below them. So I try not, but the people wanted that cabin because it was a deluxe balcony and it had an extra large balcony on there. And because it's in an inconvenient location, the price of that area of the ship was cheaper. So they were booked and they paid in full and everything was hunky-dory. And as I always do, I got back home, my niece is here with me, and we've been going over everybody's booking, even the ones who have paid, to make sure there's no snafus. In fact, my cruise that I looked at, apparently it said paid in full, but then when I looked at it, I owed a penny. I owed a penny. Now, can you imagine if they canceled my cruise on final payment day because a penny wasn't paid? Even though when we did it, we paid exactly what they asked for, and we double-checked. I don't know where the penny came. I paid the penny. Watch, I'll get a $10, credit card charge for using the penny, but all right, I digress. I was looking at this. Well, first of all, my niece discovered it because it was in her section of our group. We divided in half, and she's looking after one section, I'm looking after another. And she noticed, hey, why do they suddenly owe $67 more? And she says, I know I paid them in full. And she double-checked because every time we make a final payment for someone, we send ourselves and the client the confirmation. So she double-checked the confirmation she received, and yes, it's paid in full and everything. She calls me, she says, I don't know what's going on and everything. She's confused. So I get into the computer and I start looking and I say, so what was the base fare? And she says, it's this much. And I said, okay, the base fare has changed for some reason. And then I noticed the cabin's been changed. They are no longer on deck 8. They've been moved to deck 9, still in a deluxe balcony, but no longer have the larger balconies. They have a bigger cabin, slightly bigger cabin, but the large balcony isn't there, but they're in the same location on the ship, just one deck higher. And I went to my brain and I said, now why did this happen? Because now they say they owe them $67. And the first thought that came to my mind was deck 8 forward. That's the deck that they normally isolate for any quarantine people that need to be isolated on the ship. Because it's the first passenger deck. It's the closest one to the medical center for getting off, and it's easy to close off that first section. Also, because it's above the theater, a lot of people don't book that area. So I think they chose that area, even though they're really nice balconies, they chose that area to isolate off. I said, I bet you that's what happened. I contacted Princess this morning, and I got a very nice gentleman on the phone, TJ. Hi, TJ, if you're out there. Worked with me. He said, okay, I haven't seen this happen. And then I explained to him, did they move them because of the COVID policies and they're isolating? And he goes, well, let me check the note. And they looked at the notes and he says, yes, operational procedure was a thing that they did. They moved them for an operational procedure because I even had it, do not upgrade in the booking on the cabin because they wanted that area. But I said, okay, they're in a deluxe balcony. I understand we can't get those cabins anymore, and there's no other cabins like that on the ship. There is literally 6 of those cabins on the ship. So I said, all right, but they're not paying $67. He said, yeah, I don't blame you. So what's supposed to happen is when they do that, they put in this AP code that brings it back to the original pricing. Whoever moved them forgot to do that, or the computer did it automatically and didn't do that, so the price was changed. Now, a penny, they may not have canceled my cruise. $67 though, they may have canceled the cruise. And so I did make a note. I did send off some information to my business development manager with Princess and let people know, and I'm doing this video to let you guys know that, yeah, even though your booking is paid for and everything, keep checking and make sure that nothing funky has happened. Because had we not been double checking these, we would not have seen that $67. We would not have even known that they were moved, their cabin. We got no notification. The customer got no notification. And I said, that's an error. Something right there has to be done. So again, I've contacted Princess and said, guys, this is something else you need to work on. Now, they fixed it very, very easily, very quickly. The person like TJ, like I said, had it done like this. He even said, hang on, I've done it. You can see that it's done, and I'm going to call somebody else and double check with them that it's done and make sure there's nothing else we need to do. So he was very, very thorough, and we got it done. I don't know how many of you would have been double checking, or myself would have been double checking your own bookings once you know final payment's made. Because guess what I did that after this all happened? I went to my next 5 cruises and I double checked that they're still paid. Even though it's other cruise lines and stuff like that. And double checked I'm in the right cabin. So yeah, just a little tip. Just because you're booked, with the way procedures are right now with isolation and things like that, you still might not be in that cabin if they choose those cabins as quarantine locations. Keep an eye on your cruise. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. We'll see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world. Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.